Hey everyone, hope your day's going good. Once again, my name is The Real Matthew Show, and I'm the editor-in-chief for Defiant Legends, and we're a culture and lifestyle magazine that's based out of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. You can find all of my work at Defiant Legends on Instagram or at defiantlegends.com. And today I'm back with a few thoughts about the 63rd Annual Grammy Awards, and more specifically, the Best Rap Album category. So the Grammy Awards tends to be controversial to the fans based on really who gets nominated and who doesn't. And the 63rd Annual Grammy Nominations category for Best Rap Album continues this narrative, while not being as controversial as the 62nd or last year's Grammy nominations category for Best Rap Album. The 62nd, I should say, Grammy Awards category for Best Rap Album consisted of nominations from Dreamville for their album Revenge of the Dreamers 3, Meek Mill for Championships, 21 Savage for I Am over I Was, Tyler the Creator for his album Igor, and YBN Cordae for his album The Lost Boy. And you may know that Tyler the Creator won that award, and I think he deserved to win that award. I think it was the best album out of that category, but the controversy is not really on whether or not he should have won that award. It was whether or not he should have been even nominated for that category in the first place. And if you listen to Igor, you'll know why, because this album right here is not really much of a rap album. It's more of a pop album. And the controversy is that he should have actually been nominated for the album of the year category instead of the best rap album. But the reason why they didn't nominate him for the album of the year category is because of he's kind of pigeonholed for who he is, being a black man. So that was more the controversy last year. Tyler the Creator won the award, and he was happy about that, but at the same time he wasn't able to break through, and that's really what he was trying to do with that album. I mean, there was very, very little rapping on that album. He only rapped on like maybe 2 songs. Most of the time he was singing. The production was a sort of all different types of music: electronic, pop, bit of hip hop, dance hall, different types of EDM from different places all over the world. And it's a great album. But yeah, it wasn't really a rap album, and he won the category. I mean, he took it, but in his speech he explained that he was trying to break through and do something different, and he was not able to in the situation. So how much does he have to do to break through? The other thing that I thought was a bit controversial about last year is, well, they put Tyler in that category when they shouldn't have. I think they should have put him in the pop category. And the other thing was they didn't nominate Freddie Gibbs and Madlib in the best rap category for their album Bandana, which I have right here on vinyl as well. This album right here, which to me I think is arguably one of Freddie Gibbs' best albums and most accessible albums to date. Him and Madlib took about 5 years to make this album, and it was my favorite album of last year, period, of 2019. It was my favorite album of 2019, and it did not get nominated for the best rap album category. Tyler's did, which didn't really make sense. I thought they could have switched that, put Tyler in the album of the year category, and put Freddie and Madlib in the best rap album category. And in my opinion, I thought he would have won that. Freddie Gibbs and Madlib, I should say, they would have won that. So that was a controversy from last year for the best rap album category at the 62nd Annual Grammy nominations. And this year we got a bit more controversy. So the controversy this time is more of them nominating people who not necessarily should have been nominated in the fans' opinions, and not nominating people who people think should have been nominated and for other reasons, Like, for example, we have Lil Baby, who did not get nominated, but his album sales, he had the most equivalent album sales. He had the most total album equivalent unit consumption sales out of any album of the whole year. He was number one, but he still didn't get nominated. So I'm going to go through the picks here for the best rap album at the 63rd Grammy nominations, and tell you about them, tell you what I think, tell you which ones I agree with. So here we go. All right, so the nominations are D-Smoke with Black Habits, Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist with Alfredo. Just give me a sec, I'm pulling that one up. I have that as well. One of my favorite albums of the year. So there you go, there's Alfredo. We have Jay Electronica with A Written Testimony, We have Nas and Hit Boy with King's Disease, and we have Arista 59 with The Allegory. Okay, so when we start from the top, D Smoke, Black Habits. Great album. I definitely think he deserves to be nominated for that. Versatile album, not just a regular rap album. You got lots of different sounds going on in there. G-funk, soul, R&B, great features from Sear and Jill Scott, and very funky, very G-funk inspired. You have Snoop Dogg featured on there. As you know, D-Smoke is from Inglewood, California. His sound is a bit like Kendrick Lamar, his voice and his style. The album has a lot of value to it in terms of its content and what it talks about, like black excellence and things like that. So overall, the content of this album may have the strongest content out of any of the albums nominated here. So yeah, it could definitely win. So that's a strong one right there. D Smoke with Black Habits. Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist, Alfredo, which I just showed you. Hands down, one of my favorite albums of 2020 so far. It'll probably go down. I'm not going to tell you exactly, but it will go down in my top 5 albums of 2020. I'm going to be doing my countdown on the Defiant Legends Instagram page, and then I'll put my number 1 on the website as well at defiantlegends.com. But yeah, great album. Like I said, Freddie Gibbs should have been nominated last year with Madlib, but I was disappointed he didn't get nominated, and I was like, well, I don't know, man, if he's going to get nominated for this album this year with The Alchemist. And the reason why, not because it's not a better album, but it's a more hardcore album. I would say it's probably less accessible, less songs. But yeah, he got nominated, and I'm happy about it. It's a great album, one of my favorite of the year. Amazing production by The Alchemist, amazing mixing. Freddie just raps his ass off on this, brings all sorts of different flows, still talking about the usual subjects, but his flow is incredible on it. So much replay value in this album. It just goes hard from start to finish. Great features from guys like Tyler, the Creator, Rick Ross, Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher. It's just a great overall body of work. I can listen to it over and over and never get sick of it. So, great album. Do I think he will win? I mean, I really hope so. I want him to win, but based on the Grammys and usually how they go with certain people and more accessible projects, I don't think he'll win this, but we can always cross our fingers and hope. So next album is Jay Electronica with A Written Testimony. So this is one of the more controversial ones. D Smoke and Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist, not so controversial, but Jay Electronica with his first album, A Written Testimony. It was a pretty good album. Not one of my favorite of the year. I don't think it'll even be in my top 10, maybe not even my top 20, I don't think. But I think it's a pretty good album. I mean, it's long overdue. Jay Electronica was supposed to release an album like 10 years ago, and then 10 years later he finally releases this. Jay-Z's all over it, really holding it down for him. I didn't think Jay Electronica had that great of a performance. I think some of the mixing was kind of weird, and the sounds were kind of weird on it, like that constant clapping all the time. I did like some of the beats and the rapping, but I didn't come back to it that much. So I did think it was kind of a weird choice, and you definitely could have put different albums in there instead, like Little Babies, for example, or Pop Smoke's posthumous album, which was also very good and did very well, debuting at number 1 on the Billboard charts when it came out. So I thought Jay Electronica Written Testimony was a kind of a weird pick, but anyway, we'll keep going. Actually, do I think he'll win for that one? Honestly, I don't think he will. Okay. Nas and Hit Boy, King's Disease is the next pick and the 4th pick. So, Nas and Hit Boy. I did really enjoy this album. Hit Boy had a great year producing for Nas, producing for Benny the Butcher, producing for Big Sean. And I thought this album brought Nas back close to his rare form of him in his classic days, the boom bap golden age hip hop sound and hip hop days. And yeah, I thought Nas had a pretty good performance. I think Hit Boy had a good performance. I think the album's pretty consistent overall. I think there was good features on it. I did think some of them didn't have the best chemistry with him, like Lil Durk, and Big Sean was okay on it. Some of his lines on his verse didn't make much sense, like saying Picasso wrote The Art of War in one of his lines, and that was kind of controversial. But yeah, I did like King's Disease. I would say it would probably go down in my top 10 hip-hop albums of the year, or top 10 albums of the year, I should say, when I do my countdown. I'm not going to tell you where, of course. You have to wait for that on Defiant Legends. But yeah, I did like this album. It's great to see Nas back. It's great to see Nas working with a new producer in Hit Boy. And yeah, I mean, I think this could win. I think this could be a winner just because of it's more of an accessible album. And Nas, I don't think has ever won a Grammy. I may be wrong about that, so they may go with him just because of how late this is in his career and how iconic he is as an artist. Yeah, I think he could win this category. And then our last one, and one of the more controversial ones as well, along with Jay Electronica, is Royce da 5'9" for his album The Allegory. Did not think that this would get nominated. I don't think it'll be in my even top 20 of hip hop albums or albums I should say of 2020. I keep saying hip hop albums, but it's pretty much all I listen to, so it's gonna be my albums of 2020. Anyway, I did like this album. I thought it was pretty good. I did really like that Royce produced this whole album, and the fact that he's getting nominated this late in his career with the first album he produced himself entirely is good. It's a big nod to him. So not only is he getting nominated for his rapping on this, but he produced the whole thing, and he's getting nominated for the first time in his career after doing that. So I think that's definitely a really positive thing. But at the same time, I don't think this was a great album. I think they could have replaced it with one of those other guys, like I said, with Lil Baby's album, My Turn, or with Pop Smoke's posthumous album, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon. I think those two albums could have went in place of Jay Electronica and Royce da 5'9's The Allegory to fit along with D Smoke, Freddie Gibbs, The Alchemist, and King's Disease by Hit Boy and Nas. So, who do I think will win overall? I think it will go to D Smoke for Black Habits. If I had to choose, it'd be D Smoke or it'd be Nas for King's Disease. Who do I want to win? These guys right here. It's one of my favorite albums of the year. And yeah, if it was my choice, I would give it to Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist for Alfredo. Anyway, those are my thoughts and opinions on the Grammy Awards, on the Best Rap Album Grammy, the nominees for this year, the nominees for last year, how it played out, a little bit of the controversies. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. What are your picks for best rap albums for the Grammys? What would you pick for your 5 choices? And who do you think will win this year? And who would you like to win this year? Because there's a big difference between who you think will win and who you like to win. Because some of those albums people just really like because they like it. Like a lot of people really like Jay Electronica's album. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was Grammy worthy. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Thank you very much everybody for listening, and I hope you have a great night. All right, bye.